Hi, today I'm going to talk about how our spiritual values, or what we also call as sanskars, how they affect our health and well being. When we speak about health in general, no one really talks about how it is our personality and especially the virtues and vices, including our beliefs and perceptions about life that affect our overall well being. Everything in our external world is a reflection of our inner being. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is the first Kabbalistic law. We all know about the law of cause and effect, or better known as the law of karma. But even now, when there is an illness, very few people allow themselves to go deep into the primary cause of why the illness, the disease, or discomfort is there. We as a society are now more aware of the energy centers or chakras in the body, and we have seven major ones where all the meridians, nerves, and the energetic counterparts, which are called the nadis, they all intersect at that point. All centers are connected in more than just one way. These centers are also portals into every aspect of our being. They affect us physically, mentally, emotionally, and karmically. When we understand them on a deeper level, they are basically portals of time and space within our being. Everything that we have experienced across all lifetimes, it all has an energetic imprint in these centers. And at different periods of our life, when certain centers get activated, that karma starts coming onto the surface. Each center also has an endocrine gland associated with it. And endocrine glands are directly affected by our emotional state, and our emotions are a result of our sanskars. Personality traits brought forward from past lives as well as conditionings of the present. That can be termed as virtues and vices, which in turn is a result of our perceptions, conditioning, and conscience. When these energy centers get congested, depleted, or blocked in some way, we experience illness or disease, as well as psychosomatic issues. For example, the Mooladhara or root chakra on a physical level deals with controlling the muscles, bones, cellular working of the body, etc. It also controls the adrenal glands. Whereas on a psychological level, it affects your sense of security and financial success, and also governs the first few years of your childhood. Likewise, different virtues and vices are attached to different chakras in the body. A virtue balances the chakra, whereas a vice creates an imbalance of the body, mind, and spirit. In terms of energy moving through us, virtue is when divine energy flows through us without any blocks. Whereas when we have certain vices within us which block our perception or come from a deep past conditioning, the divine energy gets blocked. Think of it like a pipe, which is your Shushumna Nadi, having water or divine energy flow through it. And the points where the pipe is bent or has some muck in it, or the flow will get interrupted. And over a period of time, it will either burst or tear or have a buildup of slime, grime, dirt, etc. So let's look at it from a daily life point of view as to what these centers hold and how they govern our life. You will also notice that these energy centers are evolutionary in nature, and this isn't a coincidence. This is spiritual science. So, the root chakra, which is located at the base of the spine, governs the first 7 years of our life. It's associated with survival, meeting our basic needs of home, money, sense of security. The feeling of not having enough can lead to hoarding. Sometimes feeling like you don't have anyone to fall back on can also make you emotionally unstable. Not being grounded in your truth or not feeling supported are the factors that affect this chakra. Gluttony and greed is the vice that is associated with this center. However, some other things that affect the health of this chakra are feeling unsupported, insecure, and ungrounded can also deplete the flow of energy to this part of our body. Ancestral wounding is another factor that affects it. However, that is more on a karmic level. The virtue that balances this chakra is moderation in all aspects of life. The feeling that you are safe and secure financially and emotionally, it's very important to feel grounded, as is a strong foundation of love in your childhood. Helping others out physically or financially also helps this center feel strong and secure. Emotions such as anger, obsession, greed, depression can get stored in this center as well. Then we come to the sex chakra or the sacral and Swadhisthana chakra. Swadhisthana means our sense of self. It also governs the feeling of home and belonging. Once we have a sense of security and grounding, we move on to wanting a relationship, starting a family, enjoying the luxuries of life. We become more aware of our likes and dislikes and also start comparing ourselves with others. This center is all about how we feel about ourselves. The vice associated with this center is lust, jealousy, shame, addiction of any kind, food, sex, drugs, gaming, or even being a workaholic, screen time, etc. Basically, anything that takes time away from actually sitting quietly with yourself and understanding who you are, what you like, and what you don't like. Thus, leading to self sabotage or self obsession, which is a form of low self worth. These are both polar opposites, but both arise from a feeling of lack or not feeling good enough about yourself. The virtue associated with this center is feeling of joy, self-acceptance and authenticity. There is a thin line between fulfilling our desires and obsessing over them. Any imbalance in our emotions can very easily affect this center. Any attack on our self-worth, especially as a child, can make healing this center a long-term project, leading to the need of constantly proving ourselves or even struggle with showing up for ourselves. Unfortunately, we live in times where we are constantly comparing who has a bigger, better product in life and the desire for more, which has made the health of this center suffer. Thus, the hormonal issues, increase of narcissism in society, and so many wounded personalities with bloated egos. Other than self love, which is difficult for most of us with constant comparison, creative activities like dancing, painting, cooking, etc., can help nourish this center. It can bring back your sense of joy. This center starts developing from the age of 7 to 14 when we are figuring who we are. We are trying to understand who we are, where we belong. Thus, the feeling of home. Now we come to the solar plexus. After your basic survival and relationship needs are met, the next phase in life is all about our own self worth, courage, or willpower to do greater things. Also, our relationship with the world outside, which is also known as the ego. An unbalanced solar plexus chakra leads to sloth, lack of motivation, fear of expressing ourselves, or its polar opposite, which is self centeredness, too full of ourselves, in an attempt to hide our fear of not feeling good enough, which comes from the sacral. This center gets balanced with diligence and motivation to grow and evolve. When we acknowledge our own inner power and can also hold space for the other person's feelings and thoughts without disturbing our own emotional balance, then it comes from a place of good self worth and understanding others. When we get triggered by others, it is this center where you need to ask yourself, what is the wound that is getting triggered? When we stop taking things personally, it gets strengthened. When we live in alignment with our own soul's purpose and understanding that we are not competing with anyone, as each person has their own soul journey, and all you need to do is to be clear enough to listen to the voice of your soul, which is connected to the sun, thus the solar plexus. The foundation for the solar plexus gets laid mainly during the age of 14 to 21 when we are discovering who we are, but it also gets affected by the lower chakras. Then comes the heart chakra, which develops from the age of 21 to 28. You get it, it's a 7-year cycle. That's the age where this chakra takes over, it's active, we fall in love, we want to get married. But if your sense of self is not good, you find that most relationships formed at this stage are also very challenging. This one chakra is like a transformer. It has the ability to balance most of the chakras in the body by transforming all lower thoughts and emotions into love and compassion. The key is patience and understanding. It does not mean allowing yourself to become a doormat for people to walk over, but to know your boundaries, which is the job of the solar plexus, and be understanding from a place of detachment, yet having enough self love to not allow others' emotions to overpower what feels true to you, if that makes sense. Let me explain it this way. Once we can have an understanding of ourselves and others, it gets easier to see people and situations from a place of love and have patience. This is where the heart's work lies. It's a center of unconditional love, giving and caring for others, and having compassion for ourselves at the same time. When this center heals, we start understanding the true meaning of self love, and that is when true forgiveness for ourselves and others can arise. When the heart chakra is blocked, we want to be revengeful, hold a lot of emotional pain, blame, and literally close down our heart. Envy or jealousy leads to an unbalanced heart chakra, which leads to loss of empathy, lack of love for others, and lack of self love. When you can't be happy for others, you are unable to create joy in your own life. Then we come to the throat chakra, which is one of my favorites and one of the most difficult to transcend because it is literally a bridge between heaven and earth. It is known as the abyss before entering the kingdom of God. Sometimes, when we are going through what we call the dark night of the soul, it is this chakra which is getting activated. And the age for its activation is 28 to 35. And that is also the age when we astrologically have our Saturn return. So, a lot of life lessons come on the surface, a lot of our subconscious stuff comes on the surface. If we are aware, we can actually grow a lot at this phase. This chakra holds a lot of our subconscious junk, things which we don't express but feel. It also holds a lot of memories and thoughts from past lifetimes which start opening up as we are ready to grow and evolve. Up to the heart center, most of us evolve as we are conditioned to being kind and loving, and we all feel love for at least our near and dear ones. So, to an extent, your heart chakra gets activated. The throat chakra is where all our suppressed emotions and thoughts lie. And this gets balanced when all our interactions can come from a place of purity, honesty, and being genuine with ourselves, as well as with the world. Which means first understanding where our thoughts and emotions are arising from, what we really want and what we don't, and how to express our not so nice feelings with love and kindness, which is the heart center's job. See how healing one helps the other evolve. There is a saying which I really like by Master Choa Kok Sui. He says, unclean food dirties the body, but unkind words soil the soul. Our words are powerful, and thus purity in thoughts and words is essential to overcome the limitations of this center. When we cannot express our truth freely or remain quiet for the fear of being misunderstood or unaccepted, we block the flow of energy to this center and can cause long term illnesses. Guilt is one of those subconscious and hidden energies that really affects us a lot of aspects in our life, which are very difficult to become aware of because guilt is one of those vices which have been turned into a virtue. The society guilts you into doing things that you don't want to do. In any case, if you're doing things which are not from the heart, they're not going to land the same way with the other person. So it's really not worth guilting yourself to do something. This energy needs to be dealt in a conscious manner in this space. Journaling is an excellent practice to help us understand ourselves and also express the truth in a safe way, bringing clarity in our life. Humming, ujjayi breath, and toning are other practices that can really help bring the subconscious things on the surface. The third eye is all about higher mind and vision. It is also the center of divine will, which is connected to our higher soul. Without the divine vision, we get caught up in beliefs and conditioning that others have projected upon us. We do what we are told instead of connecting to the wisdom of your own higher self, which is in this chakra. When you have clarity, the throat chakra, your connection to your truth or higher self becomes clearer, and you can ask to be guided on the path that is true for your soul instead of following the herd. This ensures that we follow a path true to our soul and spirit instead of being enslaved by society. When we go off course and don't follow the wisdom of our own soul, we lose touch with our intuition and one pointedness. We become misguided, blocking the light of our higher soul to reach us. Intuition can't be taught, but it needs to be nurtured. The more aligned you are with your own truth, the more you listen to your own truth, the clearer the world around you becomes. When we perceive life incorrectly, and our thoughts and emotions tend to follow the same pattern, our emotions are directly connected to our hormones, which is connected to the pineal gland at the Ajna chakra. And this is also called the master chakra because it controls the entire body, which is why your thoughts and the right perception of things is extremely important. When we are aligned with our soul's truth, it helps in overcoming most obstacles, including the physical, in our life. Then comes the crown chakra, which is right at the top of the head. Balanced crown chakra is the lens or mirror of how we view the world, and thus it brings whatever we are viewing with this lens into our life. Our thoughts and perceptions become our reality. When this center is clear, we begin to see the world as a reflection of ourselves and understand the oneness of all. We understand what the difficult people in our life are trying to teach us about ourselves. It also brings a deeper understanding of the bigger picture. Like when you're standing on a rooftop, you have a clearer view of the world around you, versus being on the ground floor where you have a limited perspective of the world. Any kind of division, separatism, pride, cynicism, and are the vices of this center. And humility, compassion for the world, and complete faith and surrender are the virtues associated with this center. When we have feelings that we are not supported by the universe or intense fear of the future, we block the flow of divine light into our life and we cut the flow out at source. This is when our minds run wild with things that have not yet happened, and energy of doubt and fear supersede the feeling of being divinely supported. Because divine energy enters your body through the crown chakra, and any negative thoughts and perceptions will block out the flow of that divine energy into your entire system. Whatever we believe to be true about our lives, this chakra says Tathastu, or so be it. There's so much more to these divine portals that we carry within us. However, for now, I hope to have shed some light on the practicalities of these beautiful beings of light and wisdom that we have radiating from within our beings. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day.